The first time you do this drill, it just takes a very quick setup. All I've done here is push the T-peg into the top end of one of my clubs, and I've laid another club on the floor here, pointing in the same direction as my ball to target line. Those two things are just going to help me understand the movement of the handle of the golf club during the backswing and downswing to help me understand the right plane and path of the swing. Once I've done this for the first time, I can probably go ahead and practice the same drill and exercise without the visual aids. But just the first time, it just helps you out and helps you understand exactly what we're trying to do. As I address the golf ball here with my 7-iron, like I suggested, I've got this shaft on the floor pointing at my intended ball to target line. I then go ahead and move the club away, and you'll notice the club head will pretty much trace along that shaft that's on the floor. I then bring the club back to a good position here, my normal my normal takeaway position, and then I set it into the halfway back position. And at halfway back, we want to check that the T-peg at the butt end of the golf club is pointing directly at the ball on the club on the ground, which is on the ball to target line. So it's pointing exactly down here as I'm holding the club in the good position. So I bring it back down again, swing the club back, point the T-peg exactly on the ball to target line on the club. Now imagine that club was a big train line that rolled all the way back down there past the camera and into the distance. I want to feel like the T-peg traces that line all the way back into the distance, and then as I start my downswing, it hooks back onto that line and traces it all the way back down through, and then the club head is going to follow that line. So the T-peg points at that line, and therefore the club head releases to that line. Now you can imagine what would happen if the T-peg pointed over there. By all rights, the club head should want to go over there. And likewise, if the T-peg pointed at my toes, the club head should want to come at my toes. So if any time the T-peg doesn't point at the right point here, the club head needs to be manipulated. And if it's manipulated late on in the swing, that can be a real concern. So T-peg pointing at the ball to target line all the way down, release the club correctly. T-peg points in the wrong place, club head needs some manipulation at the last minute. So wherever that T-peg points, be careful. Now once you've done that a few times, you can probably do away with the T-peg and the shaft and just remember it's still there. Use the butt end of your club as your visual point and feel like the club is always swung on the right plane line to deliver the club to the ball in the correct fashion. Use the T-peg, use the golf club to help you establish the butt end is running in the right way to improve your swing direction.